Have you ever checked in with yourself to see how coachable you are, how willing you are to learn new things and develop new skills? You know, even in my 60s, here I am learning new skills every day. And I think it's fundamental to your growth, not just personally, but professionally. It doesn't matter what business that you're in. If you're not prepared to develop yourself personally, you'll never develop professionally. It's my opinion, for what it's worth. However, the reason I believe that is that if you understand yourself, you begin to feel comfortable in your own skin. If you're comfortable in your own skin, especially if you're in a customer-related business, customer service, where customers, clients are your priority, and honestly, if you're in business, they ought to be your priorities. And if you're prepared to have meaningful conversation with your clients, your customers, then clearly you're going to get a better outcome. And some people might say to me, well, what on earth would I want to have meaningful conversations with a plumber? Well, I think it's worth it. I think it's worth it because there's not too many, my opinion again, meaningful conversations going on out there. And I think there's a little bit of a disconnect happening. Because firstly, we don't do much face-to-face. Here am I talking to you on Zoom and my YouTube channel, and you might be listening to it, but where does the value come? Well, I think it's twofold. The face-to-face is highly valued, in my opinion. However, if you're willing to upskill, now not at that pace, but if you're willing to upskill and expand your knowledge base, if you like, you, I believe, have the capacity to have more meaningful conversations, not only in your business, but in your life. Is that a worthy thing? Absolutely. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't actually matter how much money you got, what house you live in, what car you drive. At the end of the day, the great leveler for me is how you feel about you and how then that is projected out there. So you have to be willing to be coachable and trainable. Now, if you've got a business and it's just stagnant, it's just not kicking on, my invitation today is to look at how are you progressing? What are you doing to feed and nourish yourself, your skills, your understanding of yourself? Let's face it, they're massive undertakings, upskilling yourself and understanding yourself. Well, in the main, I think they're underestimated. I think that upskilling yourself, what I see is a lot of people jumping on all the freebies. You know, I do this week and this next week, but they never ever integrate the information because they don't implement the information. Now, if you're a regular here in my YouTube channel, you'll hear me say this quite a bit. And I feel that's a sad thing. If you're going to give up your time and contribute to a program, say, let's just take like my 5-day program that I have, my intensive. I have people on that then the next week they're on another program. They don't actually give themselves an opportunity to implement, to then integrate and use it in their business. And it doesn't matter what business it is. If you don't give yourself the time and the respect to implement and integrate, you can't then share that knowledge with someone else. So my message today is be coachable, be trainable, be prepared to upskill yourself. Be prepared to look at yourself. That's not easy, you might say. I agree, it's not easy. I've been doing this for decades. And as I'm here with you today, I realize, and it's not the first time I've realized it, what I don't know is massive. The more I know, the more I don't know. And you've heard that, I'm sure, lots of times. But I think it's a worthy thing to keep with this notion that I must be engaging in meaningful conversations, meaningful trainings, meaningful skills. Learning of skills is probably a better way to put it, so that I can bring more value to the market. So there's a couple of things there, isn't there? Let me reiterate that in case I've confused you, because sometimes I just get a bit passionate about this. But I believe the way and the key to success is twofold. You need to be willing, so that's the coachable bit. You need to be willing to upskill yourself. And the other part, the plus part, and you can put, these are interchangeable, whichever one you do first, you must be willing to work on yourself. Now, that doesn't mean just reading a book, because it is my observation that a lot of people that read books don't ever implement the information. So it's kind of lost on them, if you like. They have the concept, but unless it's actually implemented and integrated, it doesn't become part of who you are. And then part of who you are, then you don't get to show yourself out there is that person who's just upskilled on a particular thing. So upskill, be prepared to work on yourself equals success. So maybe this whole video was about success. Well, choose for yourself, but there is lots of areas to upskill yourself, and you can afford to be discerning. So be discerning. It doesn't mean you have to do something every week. You need to have yourself time out to implement and integrate. Super important. Give yourself time. Give yourself the respect and peace of mind in some ways to learn and know and understand and build your self-awareness, because that will help you tenfold. Tenfold. This is Mary Scott. Do subscribe, and I'd love your comments. That's how I learn. It's all part of my upskilling. You contribute to my learning, I contribute to yours. It's very much a win-win situation. Thanks for watching.